Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 8 on DraftKings, our head-to-head battle for charity every single Wednesday. And I've got a real special one, almost a decade in the making this week, as my former Grinders Live co-host, David Socrdave Kitchen, is joining us on the show today, all the way from Rotogrinders headquarters in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going to try and throw him through the top of the cage. We're going to be playing for $100 donated to the winner's charity of choice. Loser has to pay. But if you play head-to-heads on DraftKings, you know that usually you've got a lot of overlap because the value plays are just the value plays, and you end up having like a 2v2 or a 3v3 at the end of the day with 5, 6, 7 spots overlapping in your lineup most weeks when you play head-to-heads. We do this like a draft, kind of like a schoolyard basketball draft at lunchtime when we're gonna have 1st and 1, 2nd and 2, we're gonna pick one. The rest of the way cannot have any overlap, so the possibility of getting sniped is definitely there. It's not so much to me about putting together the optimal lineup as much as it is about inflicting as much pain on my opponent as I possibly can. So drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below letting me know who you think drafted the better team for this week, and let's go.
He's a legend.
Hey Dave, how's it going, man?
Hey, it's a little bit of nostalgia right now. I feel like there should be an intro with us dancing.
I know we got to dance. We got to put the music on.
Oh man, it's been a long time since we were co-hosting a show together. I got your thank you card in the mail as far as, dear Socrdave, thank you for elevating my career to what it is today. Hey, thank you for modeling a work ethic. So tough, so hard that I took over the YouTube channels with all my videos. So to that, I should just say you're welcome.
Well, you're doing your Maui impression right now, aren't you? What can you say except you're welcome?
I can see what's happening now. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. First time being in the cage. And I'm not even mad that it's taken so long to get the invite.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. I understand my role. I've always understood my role as like, I'm never going to be like the star. I'm never going to be the expert that someone's like, hey, can you come on my show? Like, can you come on my show? Really want to get into a deep dive on this week's slate.
See, I'm the opposite of the deep dive guy. I'm just like, you know what? Let's just make some dad jokes and say some stupid stuff and maybe make a TikTok now and then.
Well, in that case, you really should have had me on a lot earlier.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find all of your stuff on social media and on YouTube? You've been running these YouTube streets for a couple years now too, Dave.
Yeah, youtube.com/Swolecast. That's the only show that I do these days. I was, the opposite of like Overzet and Silva back in the day as far as doing 11 shows a week with like different. So I want to provide our listeners with one focus. So I'm just focused on the Swolecast these days. If you want to catch me on Twitter for dad jokes and Derrick Henry takes and picking on my he's like a son to me.
Your adopted son.
Adopted son I would never claim in public, but Davis Maddock. You can catch me at Socrdave, SOCRDAVE.
Fair enough. Go follow him on Twitter. And we're going to be playing for charity today. The charity that Dave has chosen to play for is Charity Water, and he wants you to donate to the Welly Maker. Is this Welly Maker 4 or 5? Is Welly Maker 5 from Drew Dinkmeyer, raising a ton of money for to build wells in places where people don't have access to clean water all around the world. Our stream will be playing for No Kid Hungry. As always, 1 in 6 kids across America are struggling with food insecurity. We are doing what we can to try and raise as much money as we can as a community. I think we're almost at $15,000. I will be matching every $5,000 up to $25,000. And I have, because of my heater that I've been on in daily fantasy, I have now double matched each of the next 3. So if we get to 15,000, instead of matching 5, I'm going to match an extra 10. We get to 20, instead of 5, I'm going to match another 10, and 25, I'm going to match another 10. So $30,000 more in matches from me coming if we can hit those benchmarks. I'm going to see if I can get Dave to donate $100 this week. But you chose the first pick, Dave. So, I mean, who are you going to take?
Yeah. I mean, is it even a question these days? Is it even a question? Like, this guy, I am honestly a little bit appalled. I'm appalled that, like, I went to check like the MVP odds.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Derrick Henry's not even on there, right? Like, he's not even an option right now.
Just because it's negative too much?
What can the guy do? What else can the guy do to get a little respect? He throws touchdown passes. He's now catching passes. He's QB1. He's RB PPR1. And he is my number one. Hear ye, hear ye. I shall select Derrick Henry.
You know, I kind of thought that you were going to do that. The whole thing in the lead up to the show before you got here was, if you give me the number one pick, I'm taking Derrick Henry. And I don't think that he's the top value on the board. I typically go value first. But, like, 100%. I was going to take him just to needle you.
100%. I knew what was going to happen if I didn't take it. That's why I selected first pick, because if I gave you first pick, I knew you would want to select Derrick Henry just to get a reaction out of me. And I have to protect the brand. If there's one thing I have taught you, I have taught Davis, it's to protect the brand at all costs. So Derrick Henry, he's mine.
All right. Well, you got him. Derrick Henry is he's pretty awesome, I have to say. He was kind of a flag plant for me in best ball leagues this season. So, like, I was taking him or Kelsey if I didn't get one or two. So if he fell to 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, it was either Henry or Kelsey for me.
Him falling to like pick 5 and 6 was just it blew my mind, especially in the half point PPR sites. And like, if you look at anyone who is first or second in their league right now, odds are they have Derrick Henry, because he is single-handedly propelling. He and, like, Cooper Kupp, if you got those two, like, you are so much, like, you are so far ahead of the other, just because they're spike week. Shout out to Eric Binefor, that they've had, that you just he's basically, like, providing you that insurance right now where you feel good about yourself. Like, I don't know if it can continue, but I do know that if you have him right now, you're feeling pretty good.
I mean, you should feel pretty good, and feeling good is a good thing. So I'm going to head over to my team, and there's two players that I feel good about this week. And the value opens up. It's just kind of what happens in daily fantasy. But the mid-range value seems pretty clear, at least from where I sit right now. The first one is basically the same guy who's been the best value on the board for the last 3 weeks. It hit 2 weeks ago. It did not hit against Detroit. And it's Darrell Henderson. He's 6,500 going up against Houston. They're favored by 78 points this week, I think. Something around that. Yeah. Don't fact check me, but it's around that level. And the Rams will throw the ball late in games, just like the Buccaneers have been throwing over expectation late in games. But Henderson's volume, both on snaps and percent of running back touches, has been very, very secure every single week. Every time they get inside the 10-yard line, there's expected touches for him as well. He's too cheap to pass up with the matchup, with the volume, with everything else that's coming his way. Now, I'm kind of torn on this next pick, because I kind of feel like it could go a couple of different directions. I'm going to take the floor pick here, and it's going to be DeAndre Swift. At 7,100, they finally raised his price, Dave. He's been like 6,000 to 6,300 the whole season.
Yeah, well, when you do what he did last week, it's like they were kind of holding his salary there, and then, like, they had to relent, because wasn't he like 6K last week? He
was 6K again, because, well, he's a road running back against the Rams. They're, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's getting Alvin Kamara usage from the past 2 seasons. 2019, 2020 Alvin Kamara deployment is essentially what DeAndre Swift is getting this year. 12 to 15 carries a game, 6 to 10 targets a game, and that's the optimal sort of usage. But I don't have to pay 85 to 9,500 like we had to pay for Alvin Kamara in those seasons. Now, look, Kamara on the Drew Brees Saints, I have to say that because the Saints now are running some like pre-face mask football offense where the forward pass is not included as a part of what they do. But he has less touchdown expectations, but he still has 5 on the year. 7,100 is still a fair price. If it goes above like 75, 7,700, it might give you a little bit of pause, but like 20 points is very much in play here. Probably a floor of somewhere around 15 based on how much usage he has in the passing game. And we have that big playability like we saw last week. So Henderson and Swift is going to kick me off, and I'll swing it back to you.
Okay. If you're a running back, and you had a last name to pick, you would pick this last name.
Okay.
Because, like, if you pick up yards, what do they call it, Al?
Gains.
Yeah, you gains. And if you do something good, what's another word for good?
Excellent.
Oh, yes. Kenneth gain excellent. You are mine. At 5K, he is the pass catching running back. It's weird seeing like him over Boston Scott last week be the pass catching running back. I know we get arrested if we talk about our best ball teams.
No, we have to allow it at this. This is the 1 week you can do it because it's the halfway point. You have a window here. It's like the January transfer window in Europe.
So I have Kenneth Gainwell on a lot of my best ball teams. I was counting on him in case Miles Sanders went down as really the running back of the running back position, but he's actually Boston Scott was carrying the ball last week and Kenneth Gainwell was receiving the ball. But I think Gainwell has an enormous upside at only 5K, and you've got to save somewhere. And so I feel like there's no longer those like 3K wide receivers that we used to have back in the day. So with Derrick Henry as my first pick, I got to save, and I'm going to Gainwell on this one.
I love that you say back in the day as though there weren't like 5 $3,400 and down wide receivers like last week. So back in the day being week 7.
Yeah, but like that's not been the norm this season. Like aside from week 1 and maybe last week, like that hasn't been the norm. Like Bime4 had a thread about it. Like we can't find those min-sal plays that are just going to be absolute smashes to complement the rest of the lineup. Like there is real risk with these cheapies.
It's true. You're not wrong. Look, so we saw that last week with what was it on Baltimore. Didn't really have a massive day, and like you're playing guys like Pettis on New York if you're looking for those 3K guys. And again, we draft this on Wednesday, and some of those guys do come into focus by like Saturday night. So we don't have that. It's an incomplete game. You know, that we're working on incomplete data here. We're kind of under the gun in terms of daily fantasy, and we don't really have all the information like we would closer to the button as we get closer to kickoff. So you wanted a pass catching back, and I understand that because you look, a carry is worth less than a target for running backs. And I don't typically do this in the cage. I don't want to lock up positions, but I'm going to lock up a position here. And it's going to be my flex spot because Cordarrelle Patterson is a grown ass man and he has been doing work this whole season. Now look, he was weeks 1 through 4. He was extremely lucky because he was scoring like 2-3 touchdowns on 30 to 40% of the snaps. But if you look at the last 2 weeks, things have changed. He's playing more than 65% of the snaps. He is getting still the amount of usage that he was getting in the past game, 14 targets over the last 2 games, but 28 carries over the last 2 games as well. He's taken over some of the inside the 5 work. He has been a much more explosive and much better player than Mike Davis this season, way more impactful. And this seems like a merit-based promotion for CPAT. So I have no problem taking a wide receiver who is lining up at running back with each target being worth 2.8 carries from an expected points point of view. I'll lock up my flex early. Wide receiver is a cesspool this week, so I'm just going to take the best running backs that I can and pile up as many targets in this lineup as possible.
All right, I see you. And thank you, because now I don't have to worry about running backs till the very end if I do decide
choose to go that
flex. Right. So, all right, what I'm going to do is look for some decent, like medium priced wide receivers I think this wide receiver is going to have a new quarterback this week. I hope he's going to have a new quarterback this week. And Al, I love a good dad joke.
Of course. How could you not?
And what's my last name?
Kitchen.
Too many cooks in the kitchen? I think not. We're going with Brandin Cooks.
It took a circuitous route, but it got there.
We got there.
Showed up in the Hermsmeyer Air Yards model this week as well. And I think that he gets a bump if Tyrod comes back and starts in this game. Because what's your thoughts on the Mills Mafia?
Oh, I feel bad for him. He's not the permanent guy. He's like, in high school, there's that girlfriend or boyfriend that you just have just because there's nothing really else, and they're just like filling a gap. That's Davis Mills.
So he's the Katy Perry of quarterbacks.
Yeah, you might say that.
All right, Brandin Cooks fills that spot, 5,700. I said put him in. All right, he's in. Good. Let's see. Where can I go here? Speaking of air yards that have been unrequited, the Jets are bad in like all facets of the game, right? Joe Mixon in play this week. Chase has been ridiculous. But T. Higgins is getting an absolute metric ton of targets, and targets typically equal points, and he's only 5,200. Like, I'm not expecting the 15 targets that he got last week against Baltimore, but like a solid 6 to 10 targets seems certainly in play for me in this spot. So like T. Higgins seems like the safe, cheaper wide receiver with a solid floor of targets to push this lineup through to where I kind of want to direct it as we get down the line.
You remember that one time we were in New York and we were getting gelato?
You want vanilla?
You want vanilla? That's a vanilla pick.
It's very vanilla, yeah.
Very vanilla.
It's nice. It's not thrilling, but it's nice.
Right. Yeah, like it's there, but it's not exciting. It's not sexy. People know me. Know that I like the sexy pick. I'm not going vanilla with any of my picks.
All right, well, you went with Brandin Cooks, dude.
Yeah, because that was a good dad joke. But also, I don't think Brandin Cooks is vanilla. Like I think that he's going to shut down this week, or he's going to have a really good week with 12s or so targets, and
he should get 10 to 12 targets every game.
Yeah, he should.
He should.
So,
except he's got double neck throwing him the ball.
If Ty God is his quarterback, I feel a lot better. But like, I feel like T. Higgins and someone like Jacoby Myers, like they're always going to be. It seems like they're always been towards the near of like optimal lineups, but they're just vanilla.
Look, man, one day Jacoby Myers is going to score a touchdown. You're going to be like, I've been playing Jacoby Myers since like 2020, man. Like when that day comes, just imagine the jubilation.
I know it'll be awesome. All right,
might be 2023 also.
Okay.
All right, coming back to you.
So I have a feeling I'm gonna go with a guy who's had a few bad weeks.
Okay.
He also might be dealing with a quarterback change, but 7.2K against Atlanta. This guy is an alpha. I'm going with DJ Moore, hoping that he was the first 3 weeks he just like crushed. I'm hoping that he crushes again for us.
Have you taken a look at his profile picture on DraftKings?
No, his profile picture on Rotogrinders looks good though.
Okay, so like look at his profile picture here on DraftKings, and then I want you to look at it through the lens of how fed up he must be with Sam Darnold as his quarterback. It's like that's kind of what that says to me right there. It's like, Sam Darnold's your quarterback.
Oh yeah, he's given it's like kind of to the side.
Yeah, it's like I'm here.
That look is like one of the 10 professional headshots you had taken.
I had a headshot truck. It's like a food truck, but like they gutted it and put like a photo studio in it.
Yeah.
It's called the Headshot Truck. Shout out to them.
Oh, this is legit. There's
Yes,
really
it's an actual thing. You can Google that thing.
Well, it's like you live in LA, so that makes sense.
They
like,
just drive around to your house. Like you just schedule and they
right.
come around. Come get a set of headshots. They got like a little studio, different backdrops. It's great.
Be like a mobile guitar shop here in Nashville. So
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah, like that. Or a mobile, you know what would be good? Like a personal barbecue truck. Not like a food truck that just goes somewhere and posts up, but like for like they have the video game trucks that kids have for parties. You want to have a barbecue party at your house, they'll just drive the truck to your house. It's just for parties.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, because what you were describing at first sounded a lot like a food truck.
Yeah, but you're not getting a food truck for your house.
You know, like food,
no,
but
like
it's on
a catering truck, not a food truck, not a roach coach.
It's mobile.
It's mobile. Yeah. It's like a kitchen on wheels. Like cooking like a whole hog in the back of a van.
Yeah, I like it.
You know, it's a good idea. Might have already been done. All right. So you got more. He's solid. I can make something fit here. And I think I can make it fit just again, it's not about optimal. It's not about optimal. The cage match is never about optimal, Dave. You know what the cage match is about, Dave?
It's about pain.
It's about inflicting as much pain as is allowed within the rules and making your Sunday viewing as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah. I'm gonna be pretty comfy by the looks of this lineup.
I don't know. AJ Brown's gonna be my next pick here, Dave.
No, come on. All right, that is pain.
Well over the Chipotle flu, catching 8 of 9 balls last week against Kansas City.
Man, he looked good.
In the possibility that Derrick Henry isn't playing from ahead and has like 22 carries for 90 yards and maybe catches 1 ball, and AJ Brown sneaks into the paint not once but twice this week, you're going to be squirming while you eat that peg leg pork chop.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. He's not going to pop in optimals this week. It's probably a bad pick, but in terms of the game,
yeah,
this is what it's about. I want all the Arthur Wan for this cage match this week.
Oh, man. Okay. People that know me, that have seen the Swolecast, they know just kind of the GPP master that I am, the tournament master that I am. You know, there's such thing as your correlation plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Carolina, they play Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And the theme this week is going to be like opportunities, giving these guys some opportunities, some new chances. So we talk about Cooks. We talk about more. Derrick Henry, he's just a leader. He's just the alpha. Gainwell, he has an opportunity. And so does Calvin Ridley. And Calvin Ridley on the opposite side of DJ Moore. If this is a shootout, then count me in. So let's go with Calvin Ridley at 6.6K. Like, if you'd have told me before the season that he would have games under 7K, I'm all about it. And so, like, while you are cheering on CPAT and all the high value touches are going to Calvin Ridley, that's going to be pain for you, Al.
What touches are we talking about with Calvin Ridley? Dude has not broken 20 points this year.
Well, that's what I come from the land of forward-thinking shows, and all we're looking for is a connection. All we're looking for is how many targets did he have last week? 10?
He has had double-digit targets in the last 4 games that he has played.
Yeah. So we just need to connect. It's going to happen. Al, you were one of the first persons to introduce the do factor to me. So the man is due. We've seen him be an alpha wide receiver in the past. And while I have DJ Moore, why not throw in Calvin Ridley? So
sure.
let's go with Calvin Ridley.
All right, 2 guys who don't score touchdowns. Excellent. Kind of like that. I like where your lineup's going, Dave. Let's look at some tight ends. You know, I don't think that you
So
can
help-
block the wide
So
receivers
help
that
me.
I want.
So help me if you take one of my tight ends. I will be really, really upset.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take one of your tight ends. I might not. But there is a guy. The point here is to make you clench your fist like the one in that GIF, right? A little shaking fist by the side. Make you so mad in this cage match. Because Dan Arnold's only 2,800 against Seattle. And that seems like it's way too cheap for the amount of routes that he's running, the snaps that he's playing. And I think that Jacksonville is actually in play this week for tournament stacks. Look, I need value. You said you got to find it somewhere. You went with Gainwell at 5K. I think there's 2 sub 3K tight ends that are in play this weekend, and Dan Arnold is the one that I prefer. I have
Who's
to
the other
punt
one?
somewhere. Sweeney Tom.
Okay.
If you're punting the position, and I have to find value somewhere, and there's, like I said, wide receiver is just a cesspool. We haven't had any value. Like, all the value this week at wide receiver is on Green Bay, and they're not on this slate, so we can't exactly pick those guys. So Dan Arnold at 2,800 is the route that I'm going to go for value here. Don't need much out of him. If I can get a Foster Moreau type day, that would be great. If he can wander into the end zone, that would be great. But if I get 4 to 7 targets out of him, should be more than enough to satisfy for the 2,800 price tag.
Okay. Well, I have to go cheap. I have to save some salary somewhere. And I'm just going to tell you, you made a big mistake.
I did?
my friend. Yeah.
Oh, no.
You did.
I don't like making mistakes.
So you chose the wrong $2,800 tight end.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You really did. We'll talk about them in a second, but I'm gonna stack Calvin Ridley with Mr. Matt Ryan and just get a nice little game stack going right now.
Okay.
So Ridley's 5.9K. If the Falcons can't get it done here, I don't know how they get it done. And it provides me a little bit of hedge insurance just in case one of these passing touchdowns are to see Pat. I'll get credit for it. So, yeah, let's go with Matt Ryan. He's under 6K. He's one of the value quarterbacks on the slate. I was thinking about going Sam Darnold, but I just can't.
Can't do it.
I just can't. Yeah, and Davis Mills is 4.8K. We don't know about him. Probably the brand pick might have been like Flacco.
Not Mettenberger?
Right. The Flacco in cash would have been
Yes.
like for the brand, but yeah, let's go Matt Ryan.
All right. Matt Ryan here. You pair him. You've got a nice little tournament lineup with Ridley stacked with him and DJ Moore coming back. Gainwell, Henry, and Cooks as standalones as well. I've got Henderson. I got Swift, Higgins, Brown, Arnold, CPAT. I could do an expensive thing here.
Ooh.
I could do one really expensive thing. Huh. All right, I got enough to do what I want. I think that, like, you're right. You know, guys like Tua, guys like Trevor Lawrence, Matt Ryan, certainly in play. Teddy Bridgewater against Washington's defense that has been a train wreck all season. A lot of sub 6K quarterbacks, and we haven't really seen that so far this season, right? We just haven't.
Yeah.
And also, like, Josh Allen is really good at football. So, like, paying up to 8,100 would be interesting as well. But, like, it doesn't always have to be pretty to be effective. You know? And Jalen Hurts definitely has not been pretty.
Ooh.
You know? But he just gets there every single week.
Yeah.
Every single week he gets there. And yeah, you took Gainwell, who played about 50% of the snaps in total last week, played a little bit more if you take out the 13 snaps that Sanders played before his injury. I think that Hurts is in play again this week. If I wanted to go Max Payne, it would have been TANNEHILL.
Yeah.
But, you know, with Derrick Henry throwing touchdowns now, I don't think I can risk it.
Right.
So,
right.
so I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts at 7,200. leaving me 8,100 for a defense and a wide receiver.
All right. This guy, I'm glad you said hurts, because it's going to hurt you to not like have an accurate feel of what your emotions should be watching Jalen Hurts whenever he throws a bomb to DeVonta Smith.
Damn it. All right.
Because you're going to be like, yeah, no, I forgot. I forgot that Socrdave took him with all of his infinite wisdom. But yeah, I'm gonna go DeVonta Smith because
he's due.
Because he's due, and honestly, he is like that price. Basically, the most I can do with the salary that I have left, since I've picked some of these high price guys. But he is the guy capable of having a spike week, and yeah, like he is going to be that big play guy. And 9 targets last week, 5 catches. He's just going to continue to see high volume, and we have to hope that he capitalizes on that. And how awesome would it be if he had these long touchdown passes from Kenneth Gainwell?
That would be the worst possible case scenario
on a halfback pass. So yeah, let's go with DeVonta Smith.
All right. DeVonta Smith has been one of my favorite plays for the last few weeks. I had him in my high stakes lineup last week. Didn't quite pan out, even though he got 9 targets in that game. The late touchdown went to Rhaegar the Targaryen, unfortunately for my lineups, but I really do like DeVonta Smith. You have a tight end and a defense left to go. So we come back to me. Can't block my wide receiver. So I think the game theory bros say I have to take a defense in this spot.
Ooh.
Right? I believe that's what the game theory bros are saying online too. I've got them texting me right next to my screen. Yeah. Not going to take the Colts defense against Tennessee. Probably not going to take the Titans defense there either. Dolphins have been bad and they're playing Buffalo. Not a great spot. There's not a lot of great defenses down here. Geno Smith sucks.
Oh no, that was gonna be my pick. Alvin, how dare you?
Geno Smith is not good. He's not a good quarterback. How painful. Look, and don't take this as me complaining about the result of the contests on Monday night, but how painful was that game to watch from a football?
How painful was that 100,000 that I won? Ouch, hurt me.
From a football fan standpoint.
Really, honestly, who wins 100,000 and complains about it anyway?
From a football standpoint, I was tilt watching that game. I was tweeting through it, Dave.
Ow. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it through that game. I can only imagine the level of emotional wreckage that you went through having to view that game in the manner that you did and winning 6 figures. My heart goes out to you.
I felt like I was at Shawshank. Al Smizzle watched 3 hours of and came out clean on the other side. That's what it felt like to me. But now Geno gets the Jags. And look, the Jaguars defense is not good. It's not. Yeah. But like, this is the movable force versus the resistible object. And I'm going to take the force in the Jaguars defense in this spot. 2,400, they're cheap. Seattle can't possibly just pound the ball into the line 47 times a game and be fine.
Okay. In life, there are 4 Smiths, right? There's Will Smith. There's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. There's 5 Smith. I did not calculate that right. There's DeVonta Smith. That's 4. We need a 5th Smith. And if you are talking about a Smith who we know is a grown-ass man, who we know
is there Steve
got
Smith?
paid. Steve Smith. No, he's not. Sorry. Steve Smith's not on the board.
7
here.
Smiths.
The fifth Smith is going to be a guy that got paid. He plays on the Patriots. we know Belichick can utilize the tight end, and here's the thing: I think he's coming to his own. If you know me, you know I'm a big JONNU Smith guy.
See, former Titan.
It's January season, and I think it's becoming January season once again. Dan Orlovsky an hour ago said one of the best things about the Patriots offense lately is they have figured out how to use JONNU Smith.
Yeah, not throwing the ball.
He's become a get the ball in his hands guy. And instead of running a route to get open, it's become, we will get you open with scheme. You go play, make yards after catch after. He's 2.8K.
That's true.
Would I rather use Dan Arnold? 2.8K. I got that. Or would I rather use a GAM JONNU Smith 2.8K? He's going to score a touchdown this week. I'm just going to go ahead and guarantee it. And he's going to fill out the rest of my lineup. So JONNU Smith, welcome to the team.
Who's going to have more targets this week, Dan Arnold or JONNU Smith?
The number of targets don't matter. If you know JONNU Smith, you know he's a get the hands in the ball type of guy, and that's what they're going to do this week. And these are going to be HVTs, Al, which I know you don't understand.
I don't know all the acronyms. I can't keep up with you youngsters.
They're high value touches. So we talk about a jet sweep using the tight end on the goal line. That's what you're going to see this week.
I mean, you got HVTs with PSMs. I don't even know what the acronyms are anymore. Okay, so JONNU Smith in the flex. That leaves you with a DST. You want to pick your DST here? And then I'll finish it off.
Yeah, it was going to be a perfect lineup with the Jags. You took them. It's okay. I'm going to take the other viable option. That's the Washington football team at 2,100.
Yeah, Washington football team going up against Teddy Two Gloves in this spot. They got to get right at some point. There's just too much talent. At least the sack numbers have increased over the last 5 weeks from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. They're getting a little more pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, and pressure is what leads to defensive scoring. They are too cheap this week. Even though they've basically underperformed all season, I think they're solid this week, much like the Titans D was last week against Kansas City. Matt Ryan, Derrick Henry, Kenny Gainwell, Cooks, DJ Moore, Ridley, JONNU Smith, the other Smith.
Ooh. You're lucky that I'm in the
Smith.
Office right now.
The double Smith lineup and the Washington football team on D. I have Jalen Hurts, Darrell Henderson Jr.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I promised myself I wouldn't laugh. All right, go ahead.
DeAndre Swift, T. Higgins, A.J. Brown, the guy who's going to score the touchdowns on the Tennessee Titans this week, Dan Arnold, CPAT, and the Jaguars D, and that leaves me $5,700 to spend on a wide receiver.
Or you could do it on a well, you have to do a wide receiver. Yeah,
I have to. CPAT does not have dual positional eligibility. This is not NBA DFS. It is NFL DFS. Which means I have to spend it on a wideout. Now,
oh man, Smith would have been great in that spot.
Cooks, Smith would have been very good in this spot.
Yeah, boy,
they would have worked out well. Jalen Waddle's been good, and they should probably be playing from behind a lot this week. But I'm gonna gamble a little bit. With as much as Manny Sanders has been involved in this Buffalo offense so far this year. 5 or more targets in the last 5, 6 or more targets in 4 of the last 5, getting targeted way downfield, which again, a guy that is on the wrong side of 30, looking pretty spry when he's got Allen throwing him the ball and opening things up as well as possible. So give me Manny Sanders, give me all the touchdown upside with what I believe is a very solid floor, a more solid floor than we're used to seeing for at least the past 4 years out of Manny Sanders. And that'll finish off my lineup. Thank you guys for watching. Dave, thank you for being here.
Appreciate it, Al. I feel like I was the veteran in the cage and you were the rookie. But I appreciate you for having me. And I look forward to that $100 going to the charity water.
Was that a period? Like, are you Ron Burgundy?
Welly Maker. I was trying to think of like the Welly Maker name, but yeah, the
charity water
charity water Welly Maker event from Drew Dinkmile.
There you go, guys. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.